Careers, any questions about the careers anymore? I'm going to get in now into a admissions action plan next.
Quick question. What does it mean for like a college major to be high paying?
You said, what does it mean to be? Is that what you
Yeah,
said?
like what does it mean like for like a high paying major? Like is it the job that they take or like what?
Well, the high paying would really mean just the financial side of it. So it's not a high value in terms like they will get jobs sooner. There are more jobs. So like if you today came out with a CS, machine learning or some robotics kind of background, those are high paying jobs. But those are jobs available today. And, those fields evolve very quickly. So, um,
Okay.
you know,
Thank
but,
you.
like high paying, in my humble opinion, like med school, you come out, you make a lot of money, but there's a huge investment. You're not going to get a job after a undergrad degree. So I have some philosophical perspectives on these things. But yeah, I mean, happy to, Nishan, talk to you ever one on one. Just call me.
All right. Thank you.
Shashank had a question. Okay, man. Okay, so now let's talk about the admissions action plan. Now, the reason I actually put a section for this and I actually put a whole template together for this is because this is the most overlooked part of college admissions. If I were to ask each of you right now today, what's your admissions plan? Do you have a spreadsheet of what an admissions plan would look like? Chances are maybe most of you don't have it. Shreya, the heck, didn't even have it when she graduated. When we got into college, we didn't have a plan. So we did it. We got away. We got lucky. But without a clear plan, um, I think it's not you're not going to do very. I mean, you're setting yourself up for a lot of trouble when you don't have a plan. And I have a spreadsheet. I'll share that with you guys. All this stuff is in a spreadsheet, but think about the like you've got 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5. Right? There are 5 columns here or 5 types of information by year. So at the freshman and sophomore years, you basically have broken it into what you have to do for planning and preparation. We've got finding a college. So you literally, according to this plan, and I actually agree with it, you're planning or looking for a college should start right here in ninth grade. You should be looking, you should know at least the names of 10 or 15 colleges. And it's not very hard, trust me. I mean, I've got lots of lists ready with me. And knowing what those colleges are, what are their websites, what are they good at, right? Even if you're not good at it, talk to people, give me a call, right? I mean, I'll help you with some of these things. It's just, and again, obviously, I'm not trying to get a business going over here, but I'm just passionate about the subject and I'll just tell you about it, right? But make sure you talk to people about what are the different options, which college is good at. Like, look, you have Santa Clara University in the Bay Area, right? You have Stanford, you have Berkeley, you have Loyola, you have San Francisco State, right? You have these state schools, double A schools, like the community colleges. Ask people what are the careers, what people take on from these places. Just show up at these places, talk to their admissions counselors. They're just good places. People will talk back to you. They'll tell you stuff. Meeting a guidance counselor, your counselor. I like this one actually. When he look at this one about guidance counselor, he says, meet the counselor here, update the counselor, begin, and just aggressively engage your guidance counselor. I know kids, including Shreya, they barely talk to the guidance counselor all the way to senior year. Now, Shreya had a good relationship in the junior year because some of her subjects were really falling down and she took too many APs and we had to really sit down with them and, this kid had gotten depressed. So the counselor got involved and so we got a very good relationship going. And that, of course, the counselor did write a very good letter for her. But most counselors, particularly in public schools, they're dealing with like 300 kids. So if you don't have a relationship with a counselor all the way, their letter for you is going to be very stereotypical, not a good one. And that letter could make the difference of your admission into a good school. Okay. So meeting your guidance counselor, putting together an action plan, high school action plan, and I've got a template for an action plan I'll show you after this. It's super important. Strengthening your language arts in 8th or 9th grade. Your STEM skills, you're still building those things, but building language arts. I wasn't sure why this guy put this over here. I just copied this from somewhere. But language arts are important here. There was a question Viraj had asked about the PSAT earlier. But hiring your college coach advisor. Junior year, you want this nailed. You want to actually literally start in sophomore year, okay? Having a counselor. Somebody start interviewing counselors in this year, start getting a feel of people, what they are like, what are they not like. I actually have a blog on how to interview a counselor. Look at that when you get a chance. But those are important things. This thing about attending college fairs, yeah. On the websites, email list, show demonstrated interest. Start doing this right away. Build a list of colleges, some college list. You don't have to make a fancy list, 10, 20 colleges, okay? And put that list together. Reach out to me. I can help you with building a basic list based on your current interest. Your interest can change over time. That's okay. We can modify the list. Most of the time what happens is Shreya's list, we started putting it together. First time I saw a list was and we loved her counselor. Even she screwed up. We got the list in July of senior year. That's the first time I ever saw a list. And she sent me a list of 90 colleges. Guess how I was going to do selection of from 90 down to like 20 schools that she was going to apply to. Literally, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, right? You don't want that process. This is why I feel you can make this process really hard on yourself by ignoring this thing, or you can make yourself life a lot easier by looking at these things, making a plan for yourself.
Harpal, if you don't mind, can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
When did Shreya started joining these, for extracurricular, the clubs and kind of to show the demonstrable interest? Sorry, not the demonstrable interest in the college, but then kind of trying to figure out. That starts in freshman year?
Yeah, no, 9th grade itself. You want to start joining some clubs, at least, start goofing around with some of the clubs, meeting them, showing up in their, it's okay to change your activities and your clubs that you're going to be a part of, but you want to have like the 8th period turned on. Like Shreya had music all the time. So she could not do many activities because she had music always as her, 7th period or 8th period, whatever they call it, 0 period, but she wouldn't do 0 period, but she would do 7 periods. But yeah, you want to start doing that, Murtaza, in 9th grade itself. And if you haven't, then 10th grade, absolutely. You want to, by 10th grade, you want to start solidifying the activities. Like maybe you want to, join that mock law club or DECA, as she was saying, or Interact or Rotary, whatever schools, clubs are available. Start taking some of those activities seriously, but those are important. Those show well-rounded interests. Does that answer the question?
Yes, it does. Okay. Thanks, Harpal.
Your list needs to get longer, right? It says make a larger college list. Like, how do you make a list? By regional. Like your parents might decide, okay, we want to keep you local. Like in my case, I wanted to send Shreya East Coast. I felt like she should study East Coast and learn a lot about the East Coast culture, because California, I feel we were living in a bubble. What major she would do, what size of the school she wanted to go to, what were her interests. So like right here, you can get 4 dimensions of how you build a college list. Counselors charge a shitload of money for helping you build this stuff, and they shouldn't be, but it's just unfortunate. And I can help you do this for free. It'll take me less than half an hour, 1 hour to put a list together, these things. And my list will be fairly spot on, like their list, maybe better than their list. What else? Shortening your list. You start shortening the list in junior year. See, we got our list only in senior year. So for us to make a list was very hard. You want to start going to find, like we, in summer of junior year, we visited a lot of colleges. Like we went there in person. So we knew our decisioning process very well. Task sheet. Task sheet has to be made like really clear, like, what are tasks which has to be completed by June, by July, by August. A lot of this has to be planned, or else you'll be in September, October. Like I'm working with this one kid right now. He started working on his essays with me now. Like we're talking in October, early October. And I was able to help him out very quickly, but it's pretty bad to start in October. You want to be starting way earlier for these things. So like the 5 dimensions were not just planning and preparing for college. This is academia, and this is, colleges, which colleges, but things to what could, like, colleges to apply for some meaningful summer work. This is super critical. Community service. What are you going to do? Like, give tuitions to others. Start doing, calling up Salvation Army, saying, "Hey, does anybody need any help?" Call any of those senior centers and say, I can teach some seniors how to use Instagram. You might be surprised. You have some skills as kids which people could use. So people teach people how to use email. Right? There are a lot of seniors who don't know how to even use emails. So you can just do a Zoom session for a senior center. You don't even need a license for those things, and start doing that meaningful work. Meaningful work doesn't have to be you have to go to Brown or John Hopkins and spend $15,000 on an internship for summer. That all that means is your parents have a lot of money to spend and you are lazy to not to figure out a good, meaningful opportunity. It actually doesn't look good on your profile, in my humble opinion. All it shows is the person is, has a lot of money. Planning for colleges, what is this? Paying for colleges. You need to know what you're going to pay. Private school without any merit scholarships is going to cost you $300,000, give or take. I didn't know these numbers. Even if you go to the stupid website of the school, they only tell you 50,000, 60,000. Nothing is worth $50,000. No private school is $50,000. Everything at the end of the day, when the bill comes in your house, it's going to be $75,000 for the year. So know that very well and plan for that. That you either send your kid to a school where they're giving you good merit scholarships. And look at my blog sites. I actually called out the good schools which actually have good merit scholarships. Because most of you are making more than 150K. So that expected EBC, what's called as this expected family contribution, this concept you have to understand. Parents get involved in these processes. What is the tax implications of how you're going to save money. I had a plan set up from 10th grade. There was money put away in cash. I mean, yeah, money didn't grow, but that was money. So I didn't have go through high stress. Even though Shreya went to I only had saved like 150K for Shreya. I put 150K for Diya. This idiot came along and took away all of the money for Diya also. But I had a plan. I had it figured out. So make those plans. This were very important, those plans. UC will cost you, University of California will cost you 140, 150K. So know those things as well. This is a student planner. Literally, like I found this online, somebody's student planner, but this, it's not rocket science. You don't have to make it fancy. What's your checklist of things that you want to get done? Work this out with a guidance counselor. Your school should have something like this for you. If they don't have it, take one of mine. You can take this thing. But have your a clear planner in place and take your planner very seriously. Okay, so these are the workshops I was talking about earlier about target colleges. If somebody wants this, interviewing skills are very important. Shreya went through this whole process with our counselor, learning how to talk to college professors and admissions counselors. She would actually talk to our counselor, our consultant, and she became very confident about talking to professors. And dang, she spoke to like 10 or 20 professors before she even applied to the schools. So every school that she applied to, she had spoken to at least 2 professors. And she wrote about that in her essays. So get into these things, talk to me, talk to Shreya, we'll get you ready for interviewing strategies, okay? We talked about career options, we can go into far more details. Shreya herself went through a very hard time in 11th grade. She got depressed, okay? And so surviving high school can be very hard. And in fact, I've done a small session on mental health as well. It's one of my blogs. Make sure you listen to that because this is a very stressful time for you kids. Computer science for girls, there's a dire need for girls to be in computer science. Machine learning and stuff, what you're seeing around is actually throwing women a lot out of their traditional jobs. So, Arif, you can sign up, just send me an email. I will be happy to do this with you. So these are just things I'm doing it just, in my time because this is my last workshop, my planned workshop, what I'm doing today. So yeah, reach out to me and I'll be able to help you guys out. Essay brainstorming, this is a very important session, which is, when you look at these essay prompts from schools like Stanford has a prompt called what matters to you and why. That's it. That's the prompt. And they say, feel free to write 10 pages of data for that. You'll go crazy. Okay. The whole brainstorming is a very important part of your essay writing. Brainstorming means there's a whole template I have where I go through about questions about your childhood. What was your favorite movie like? Tell me about some of your moments while growing up, fun moments, bad moments, growing up with some friends, who was a good friend, who was a good mentor, how was the relationship with dad, mom, a lot of those questions will start building a story about you. And I record those stories and send them to you. Okay. And I record them sometimes. I say, okay, start your own Zoom session and write, speak everything and just keep recording it, because you'll be able to review all this stuff later. And then we create about 8, 10 or 20 stories about that person from that list, from brainstorming. And then we take those 10, 20 stories and we start fitting them into your essays. That's called essay brainstorming. Those are very critical things. Unfortunately, I didn't do it for Shreya, but Shreya, I knew her cold and I had gone through a class myself. You people have not gone through those classes, so reach out to me. I'm happy to go through these things with you. So with that, this is pretty much everything I had. So I've gotten over a little early, and but I'll open it up to questions now.